Yo, what's good, man? How y'all doing out there, man? Welcome in. How's everybody doing out there, man? Welcome. Happy Monday. How's y'all weekend, man? Let's get this started, baby. There's a lot of games. We'll see how we'll cover everything. We'll try to navigate this, but there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games, man. We'll talk about it in just 1 second. Everybody come settle in, get comfortable, go. My hair getting real long, man. I'm about to cut it soon. Let's go Knicks. Yes, sir, Steve. All right, man. Welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera podcast, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, like I was just saying, a lot happened over the weekend. Right. There were a lot of games that we have to talk about, obviously. There were a lot of exciting games, some shockers, some unexpected wins and losses, crazy moments, unbelievable performances. It was great. It was absolutely great. I hope y'all had a good weekend, though. I hope y'all had a really, really good weekend. Now, I guess we'll start right over here. We'll start by getting some of the bad news out first, right? Unfortunately, Damian Lillard suffered an injury over the weekend.
Last game, they couldn't stop Trent. That one was off balance. Lillard volleyballs it over, and Lillard goes down with an injury. He's grabbing his high ankle of the left leg. And right now it's 5-on-4. Lillard can't get up. And Lopez finally fouls at the 5:57 mark.
I think he knows.
Comes over to help Damian Lillard.
I think he knows.
And he's trying to put pressure on his left leg.
Yeah, it looked like it happened before that play. Great presence of mind to tip the ball to the corner there, but you see him grabbing that left ankle. Until that foul was called, he was not moving, as he's putting no pressure on that foot. So not a good sign here from Milwaukee and Damian Lillard.
Half deep vein into two, and now Lillard is trying to work through.
It's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see at all. Damian Lillard tore his Achilles. It's super unfortunate. It's not what you want to see, right? There's a couple of guys have been injured recently, right? Brunson, who's played through it, has been hurting his ankle, it feels like, every game. Jimmy obviously went down really hard the other day. Ja was out. And so the stars, I mean, any player in general, right? But fans and people tune in to watch the stars, and you hate to see the stars go down. But I was worried about this. And it's obviously not the same leg. The calf injury with the blood clot was on his right calf, and this was his left Achilles. But when you have an injury on one side, especially your legs, you'll try to overcompensate with the other leg. And I'm not saying that this is a direct correlation, but this is a guy that didn't play basketball for 5 weeks and was on blood thinners. And then you put him into the most intense atmosphere possible in his profession, which is the playoffs. Now you have a guy that hasn't played basketball, isn't in the right shape that he should be in, having to exert himself even more than he was doing before when he was playing, because it's a much more intense game, coming off of an injury. And you got to really feel for Damian Lillard. You really got to feel for him because, like I said, that's the last thing that you want to see. And if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, right? If you're the Milwaukee Bucks, the series has already gotten away from you, right? The series, it's not. They stole a game the other night, right? They stole a game the other night. 117 to 101. But it was off the back of Gary Trent Jr. having a anomaly game. And you know, that's just something that you can't rely on game in and game out, as opposed to the Indiana Pacers who, hey, I said it going into game 3, right? Tyrese Halliburton is liable to have one of those stinker games, right? He is very liable to have one of those games where he's just not super aggressive when he needs to be. But this looked really easy so far for the Indiana Pacers. What's up, Elijah? LeBron sucks. He is washed. LeDuki James. You got to be ride or die, man. You got to be ride or die, man. I mean, I don't even know. They won that game. You know, it almost felt lucky, and then they get slammed. And then they get slammed by Indiana, and so Indiana's up 3-1. This series is over. I just don't like the makeup of the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're gonna have Giannis as your best player, you have to surround him with the right pieces, and I think right now, having a Brook Lopez out there as the center as opposed to a shooter, or if you're not going to slide Giannis to the 5 and put a shooting athletic, you know, 4-man with him, he had the right team already before. Right? He already had a right team. He had a Chris Middleton who's a very good 3-point shooter, but can isolate and take over when it's necessary, but it's not something that he's trying to do for 48 minutes. You have a Drew Holiday who is as valuable, I think, as pretty much any player in the league, who doesn't care about the shots, doesn't care about the minutes necessarily. He's literally going to go out there and do everything he can to help you guys win a basketball game. So all of the pieces that enabled Giannis to be the do-it-all point forward, you take all of those pieces away, and now we have what we have with the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I'm just having fun. I haven't watched 1 minute of that Lakers series. I'm weak. Bucks need to come out and say they made a mistake firing their championship coach and getting rid of the team. That's facts. They got rid, like I said, of all the pieces that they had before that. Worked with Giannis, and then they got rid of the coach, and everything's been downhill. You got to feel for Dame, man. You got to feel for Dame. It almost feels like who okayed him to play? That's what I want to know. Who okayed Damian Lillard to play? Did he get rushed to come back? Was it one of those situations where the team was like, man, we need you, like you could really make a difference, yada, yada, yada. Like, I'm really just curious how that situation turned out, because now, having him back for a couple of games, now he's going to be out for 10 months. So it's not what you want to see. All right. Let's get some of these other games out, and then we'll talk about, obviously the Lakers and the Knicks. But the Miami Heat lost in Miami, and they're now down 3-0, right? They're down 3-0 currently to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it was not even close. I thought this might be the game where the Miami Heat might actually pull one, right? I thought this might have been a game. And it just was not that. I will say, though, a great win for Cleveland, right? Especially after the little back and forth. So, some of the trash talk, right? Tyler Hero said they're not going to get swept, so we'll see what happens. If you're Darius Garland, you can't call out Tyler Hero the way that you did, whether you're the defender or not, and then not play the next game. It just can't happen. You just can't happen. You got other guys who, like Tatum fell on his hand. We saw that. Brunson keeps rolling his ankle, it feels like. And guys are playing. Yeah, maybe he didn't have to come in and play the whole game. But to say what he said and then not play, to me, that was kind of lame. Like, that was kind of lame. And I'm not trying to say that he was ducking Tyler Hero because, like I said, that's not necessarily the matchup, right? And in the nature of their conversation, that's not what they were talking about necessarily. But that was lame. I thought that was lame. But this series, Tyler Hero said they're not going to get swept. And, as the NBA goes, right, the closeout game is going to be one of the hardest games you'll ever play because it's in the NBA's best interest to keep series going, right? It's in their best interest to keep these series going. So a 4-0 sweep is not what they would like to see, if we're being honest, but I think that's exactly what we're going to see. And I think the series is over, man. The series is over. There's really not much to break down with this. This is a mismatch. It is a straight up mismatch. The Houston Rockets took on the Golden State Warriors, and now the Warriors have a 2-1 lead going into Game 4, which is later tonight, right? So they did something a little bit different, right? They started Quinn Post and they started Jonathan Kuminga, right? And that really made a difference, if we're really being honest, because it gave them a little bit of size to start the game off. And then when you just have Steph Curry doing Steph Curry shit, right? It really tears you guys apart. Now, I think the big thing here is Jalen Green had, after 38 points, 9. 4 of 11 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. Just was non-existent and non-factor on the offensive end. And so, hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. No, it's killing me today, bro. All right, so when it comes to this Warriors Rockets game, that was really the difference, right? Kaminga came in and provided a little bit of size. And then Quentin Post was just massive on the boards, right? 3 offensive rebounds, 12 rebounds total. He was just massive on the boards, right? Draymond doing his thing still, right? 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. I mean, just a little bit of everything. And then Steph Curry doing what Steph Curry does. And again, another low-scoring game. I think this is a credit to the Houston Rockets, right? They've been a great defensive team all year long. They have athletes. Their wings are very good on defense, right? They're physical. And so this is really a testament to how good these guys have been on defense to, try to prevent everyone else but Steph Curry from getting off, and the Golden State Warriors are just barely pulling out these victories. And and that's a great sign, right? Because they said Jimmy Butler is barely moving, right? So to win without him, let him rest, I think will go a really, really long way. All right. It's moving right along. Can you guys believe that the Denver Nuggets are tied 2-2 right now? Let's take a look at this game winner. Take a look at this game winner out of Aaron Gordon.
Zubats is on him. And this is for the win.
Oh! It's close. They're going to call
beat
it.
the buzzer? Did Gordon beat the buzzer?
They're going to take a look at it. But the official, Sean Wright, signaled it was good.
Now it was called good on the floor.
I think it's good. I think it stands.
Gordon coming in.
And winner, chicken dinner, right? Winner, chicken dinner. A great game. Great game out of Denver and the Clippers again, right? Another close game, another tight game. And this has become, outside of the one blowout in game 3, right? This series has been as close as it could be, right? 36-21 for Jokic to go with 8 assists and 2 steals and a block, right? I mean, like, what do you even say about Jokic? On the other side, this has been the real difference, because I think Kawhi Leonard has been extremely consistent for them in this series. James Harden has been a little bit up and down. And 15-11 is not bad at all, right? 2 steals, 2 blocks, 4 turnovers, 45.5% from the field, 50% from 3, 4 of 6 from the line. It's not a bad game per se, but we need a little bit more out of you. And obviously they won off of a missed shot into a dunk that they could have gone into overtime and potentially won that. And so you're kicking yourselves if you're the Clippers. However, the Nuggets have been up and down as well too. I feel like they've been getting kind of lucky on some of these late game executions, right? This was, Aaron Gordon was in the right place, right time. I feel like they escaped barely in game 1 as well too in that overtime victory. Didn't get a shot off at the end of regulation, and then the Clippers were just making some mistakes and missing some shots in overtime. So Denver is barely, I feel like, tied this series up, right? Jokic has been great. Everyone's just been all right, I guess. So it's really a toss-up at this point. I still think that the Clippers have a slight edge. Especially, they only need a little bit more out of Harden. We know what we're going to get out of Zubac. Powell has played better the last 2 games, so it's really up to James Harden to step up, and he's going to really need to step up because they're going into Denver, so he'll be really big. I'm going to look for him to try to get them guys in foul trouble, right? James Harden gets his floater before he hits some of those threes. But definitely something to look forward to. Now, is there even anything to talk about this Thunder Memphis game? Josh said he figured them out, apparently. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't even know. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies is fucking killing me today. What the fuck? It's really bad today. It's actually really, really bad today. Now, we're not even gonna talk about this Thunder Grizzlies series. It's not even worth it, I don't think. Do we do the Knicks or the Lakers first? Let's do my New York Knicks first. A lot of controversy with this one. A lot of controversy with this game. 94-93. 94-93. The New York Knicks take the lead 3-1 and defeat the Detroit Pistons. We take both of the games in Detroit. And now we are up 3-1. So we got to start first things first, right? My captain again, after all the criticism in game 1, has responded, right? Responded 32 again tonight in this game, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, and a block, 13 of 26 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Karl Anthony Towns adds 27, 9 rebounds, an assist, and a block. 10 of 23 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And on the other side, Cade with another solid game, 25 and 10, 4 blocks, 7 turnovers, though, 11 of 23 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 from the line. Let's cue up the highlight, man. Let's cue up the highlight because this was beautiful.
Just outside a minute and a half to go. Brunson trying to create contact. Towns with 4 to shoot. Driving endurance.
Excuse me.
Fall away. Oh, my goodness. How did Towns make that?
Incredible.
And around the
We
net
gotta
in
get the
game
other
4.
one.
Brunson one-on-one against Schroeder. Backing him down. Gets into the paint. To the corner. Anunoby puts it on the floor. Shot clock at 8. Towns. Long three from Towns. Oh, my! Karl Anthony Towns gives the Knicks the lead. So
This guy turned into 1991 Michael Jordan. What are we talking about?
They
Hard. To Tobias Harris.
Cunningham out.
We gotta watch
Schroeder
the
not
last play because that's really what everybody's going crazy about.
Give and they falls on
Get it
no away Tuesday.
to get a put. Cunningham drives, and Mitchell Robinson goes for a block. Duran could get an opportunity to get a putback.
Cunningham driving, pull up jumper, no good. Harris battling, loose ball on the floor. Picked up Hardaway, 2 seconds left, puts up the shot, no, and the game is over.
So the question is, did Tim Hardaway Jr. get fouled in the corner? And the officials elected to not blow the whistle on the play. They didn't even review it. Which for me is a good thing. It's a great thing for me. Right? We got the win. We're up 3-1. Josh Hart was asked about it. You know, did you make contact? He's like, did I make contact? Yeah. He said, yeah. And so, was it a foul? And the officials came out with a statement saying that it should have been a foul, that they missed the call. Womp womp, right? Because just the other game, they gave you guys half a second to get a shot up for no reason. Right? The clock and the whistle person, when they blew the whistle, the game should have been over on the Jalen Brunson free throw. But they gave you guys a whole nother possession. Guys threw the ball away. Cade Cunningham got a great shot. That is as good of a shot as you are going to get in a game-winning situation against a good defender, a very good defender. Right? And so, how many extra chances do you want if you're the Detroit Pistons? This is the same team, mind you. The same coach that said when they complain about being physical, we get even more physical. And these are the same guys that are complaining the entire game about physicality. So what happened to that? We just showed the shots that Cat hit. We hit our shots. Y'all didn't. That's really the difference. But people want to make it about the little foul call in the corner. Perk said, what if there was a foul on Josh Hart that they need to review? What if Tobias Harris was out of bounds? And, you know, Tobias Harris he's been doing a lot of yapping lately. He's been doing a lot of yapping lately. And I think it's one of those situations where you thought these guys were going to fold. I think the Detroit Pistons thought that the New York Knicks were just going to fold on some physicality. That when they hit, that we would have hit back. And they want to call it the referees, but both teams are getting away with a lot of physicality. Both teams are. The Detroit Pistons are extremely physical with both Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Everyone wants to point out the times when they fall or when it looks like they're exaggerating contact. They don't ever show you the times when they play right through them. And so I think for the most part, the game has been called pretty even. And our stars have hit their shots. And outside of Cade Cunningham and Dennis Schroeder, how many guys are really making big shots for them right now? And so I think that's really the difference, right? That's really the difference. We met their physicality with physicality. And when that hasn't worked, and it has to become a straight up basketball game and you have to execute and the skills and the talent take over, we're winning in that battle if you're the New York Knicks. Right? The bullies tried to bully us and we fought back. And I think that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. We're going back to New York. I'm expecting a tough game out of Detroit. I'm not expecting these guys to roll over, right? They've shown that they're tough and they're physical and that Cade Cunningham can really hoop. But I think this is one of those situations where Cade has to be a little bit more selfish with the ball. I'll be honest. I think he has to be a little bit selfish. I think he has to put up numbers. He has to go crazy. And if you're the Knicks, right, I think Jalen Brunson has done a great job of closing these games. They have consistently given the ball to Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Brunson is doing his thing closing them. Sorry, y'all. I am struggling today. I don't know why. My nose feels so stuffed, bro. So what, they play on Tuesday, right? They play tomorrow night. Yep, we hit our shots. They didn't. We met physicality with physicality, and that was the difference in the game for me. Is there anything else here on this Knicks game? Oh, that is one thing too I wanted to mention. That is one thing I wanted to mention about Tom Thibodeau. Like, there's some of his situationals I think need to improve. Like, there was a moment where he called the timeout. Detroit was on a run, and it's as if he was waiting until they tied it up when he could have called it earlier, right? And then Detroit just kept going, and their momentum just kept going instead of trying to put a stop to it yourself, right? And so, little things like that when it comes to watching the Knicks and Tom Thibodeau leading the charge is what really, it worries me sometimes, right? Thank God we have a young team in the Pistons who isn't really capitalizing on some of these mistakes, but against a team like the Los Angeles Lakers, I don't think we're going to have, not the Lakers, against the Boston Celtics, I don't think we'll have the same luxury in the next round. So that's definitely something to watch out for moving forward. Now, I mentioned the Lakers because we're about to go and talk to them right now. Or talk about them right now. They are now up 3-1. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on the Los Angeles Lakers, and Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, had 43 points last night. He had 16, right? 16 in the fourth quarter alone. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. 5 of 5 from the line, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. absolutely unbelievable out of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is the story of the game. Was the second half, the Lakers played 5 players. And that's the first time that has ever happened in the history of the NBA in the playoffs. Only 5 players played the entire second half, right? Rui, LeBron, Austin Reeves, Luka, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Those are the only guys that played. And what this series has been all about, it's been all about the Lakers having 2 guys in Luka and LeBron that carry all of the weight for LA, right? And you have a Minnesota Timberwolves team who's done it as a unit, as a committee, right? Game one, it was a major team effort, right? A major team effort. 25 out of McDaniels, 23 out of Naz Reid, 16 out of Julius Randle. It was a team effort. Anthony Edwards only had 22. They obviously lost game 2. Luka had a great game. Game 3 they won, and Jaden McDaniels again was the standout. Anthony Edwards had a very good game as well, but Jaden McDaniels, I think, was the standout. Randall again with 22, being a consistent rock for them. And so 2 of their wins was really a team effort. And that's really been the difference between the Lakers and the Timberwolves in this series. And then last night, we had one of those games that, when you talk about a player's career, right? When you're looking back at a player's career, and you talk about certain moments and certain games in a series, this game against the Los Angeles Lakers is going to be that for Anthony Edwards. He's had a hell of a year. A lot of it had to do with a lot of criticism, right? He started coming into the year with they had the Olympics, but he had the comments about retiring and going to play football. The another baby mama drama, right? More baby mama drama. He had more comments that he had made throughout the year, being frustrated, right? All of the fines, all of the people that were calling him the next Michael Jordan started questioning him. People are questioning his 3-point attempts, myself included. All of these things happen. And we've had the best version of Anthony Edwards in this series against the Lakers. Now, I said in the beginning of the year, this is going to be a massive year in his career. It's going to be a turning point where he has an opportunity to respond to all of the criticism and all of the negative outlooks on him. And to have a performance like he did last night says a lot. I will say, I think there is a massive difference in his game right now. It's very subtle, I think, in my opinion. But his game is it looks very different to me. There's a lot less of the dribble into these big step back threes. He's stepping into a lot of his shots, punch dribble. I think it helps him a lot because his base, when he's shooting a set shot, his feet are pretty close together, right? He's not one of those guys that has a wide stance when he's shooting. So, putting guys to sleep with the slow dribble, stepping into shots, I think is working really well for him. On top of that, he's been attacking going downhill at the paint a lot as well too. We're seeing it time and again, right? And so, you know, not only did he have 43 last night, he shot 5 of 10 from the field, 23 out of attempts, so less than half of his shots were from 3, but 17 free throw attempts means he's getting in the paint. And you have to love the way his game is maturing and the way he's growing, because it shows that, one, he's taking the criticism and understanding it and adjusting, but two, to actually put it into action and to execute in real time is really, really difficult. So a lot of kudos to him. His decision making has been great this series, right? Decision making has been great. 43 points, only 1 turnover. Only 1 turnover. So that's something to look out for. I think Luka, where Luka's been getting his points has been a little weird for me. A lot of Luka's points have been coming in the first half of these games. I think he needs to flip it and get most of these points towards the end of these games, right? If he can try to get his guys involved through the first half and then go and score 25, 28 points in the second half, like he's been doing in the first half, I think the math and the flow of the game will be a lot better. Because I think right now he's shooting himself in the foot going into the second half, being more tired than he needs to be. And now when there's more pressure, now you're asking the role players to go and take shots that they should have taken in the first half to get themselves into a rhythm. And so I think that needs to get flipped on his head. Obviously, you know, the same 5 starters playing the whole second half, I think is kind of crazy. Yeah, I think that's kind of crazy. You know, Jared Vanderbilt has played very solid for them in stretches this year. Gabe Vincent as well too. And you have to, it's not just Anthony Edwards, right? Mike Conley and Dante DiVincenzo have also been very solid, very quietly solid in this series. So, you know, I think Jared Vanderbilt, you can have some of his athleticism, some of his physicality against Anthony Edwards, but they're obviously choosing to go another way. But this series, man, I don't imagine that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to close it out in LA. So I do think it goes at least back to Minnesota 3-2. But what a potential career defining moment for Anthony Edwards, man. That was massive. That was massive. Now, we got to talk about this Orlando Magic Boston Celtics series very quickly for one thing, right? Because let me see. Orlando stole game 2, right? No, they stole game 3, sorry. They stole game 3, so it's 2-1. Big Caro again with another big game, 29. Franz Wagner with a massive game that game, 32, 8, 2 steals, 7 rebounds. You know, Wendell Carter, 10 and 12. And that was with the Celtics. You know, Tatum had 36 and Jaylen Brown had 19, right? And then the Boston Celtics took care of business last night. I gotta say, man, the spirit of Kobe Bryant is alive and well with Paolo Banchero. Like I gotta say, I know that there's some folks out there that aren't gonna like the way the game looks when Paolo Banchero is there dominating and taking these shots, but we've seen this before. And it's a part of the process when it comes to these type of players. Paolo Banchero genuinely does not give a fuck. Like, I saw him take a three, someone get a rebound, pass it to him, take the shot, miss, get the ball, and shoot it again. Like, when you talk about someone that does not care, sometimes I think he doesn't even see his teammates on the floor. I think he thinks he's going 1-on-5. That's what it looks like sometimes. And is it good basketball? No. But it's very telling because I don't think his teammates seem to really mind. At least they're not physically outwardly showing it that they have an issue with this style of play. And he's gonna learn as time goes, but him going off and Franz Wagner going off, just the two of them, is almost enough to keep the game close for most of the game. The Celtics just have way too much. They have way more firepower. They have sets that they could go to. But the random freestyle hot potato basketball that Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner is playing, it's enough to keep games close, right? Wagner with another really solid game last night, 24-7, 6 rebounds, 10 of 22 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. He's also getting them up. And so these guys are really, really dangerous. Now, I don't know if y'all have noticed this about Jayson Tatum, because he never says much, right? I feel like when he trash talks, it's very subtle, and then especially in interviews, he's very reserved. I said this when he played against the New York Knicks, right, without Jaylen Brown. It felt like he took the OG Anunoby Mikal Bridges matchup personally. And Jayson Tatum would isolate the quote-unquote best defenders in OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, and he was scoring on them time and again. It looks very similar against the Orlando Magic. He is consistently isolating Paolo Banchero. He is consistently isolating Franz Wagner. And so I think this is one of those situations where he's being very arrogant, talking shit, but he's doing it with his game. He's doing it with the decisions that he's making, because there are a lot of scenarios where he isolates the both of them, and it seems as if he's like, I could take the both of y'all on. And to his credit, he had 36 and then 37. So, he's kind of been that. He's kind of been that. He's been averaging 30 points a game this series, 12.3 rebounds. Paolo Banchero has been averaging 32 and 8.3 rebounds. So, that's what we're getting out of the Boston Celtics. Also, the Boston Celtics do something kind of weird to me, in my opinion. Most great teams, they'll say, what they say on ESPN or like on these basketball shows, that, impose your will, right? Most great teams, championship teams, they'll force you to play their type of basketball, right? Like the Denver Nuggets, when everyone was trying to play fast because they have Jokic, they were forcing everyone to play slow, right? The Warriors can get people into the trap of shooting a whole bunch of 3-pointers, right? The Boston Celtics almost want to play the style of game that the other team is playing. It's as if they're shapeshifters, right? The Orlando Magic want to play this physical, mid-range type of game. And the Celtics are like, all right, cool, we can play that with you guys. You know, we saw it last year with the Dallas Mavericks, right? We're going to play this high pick and roll heavy type of offense. We're going to match up hunt, da-da-da-da-da. And the Celtics sort of play like that. When they played against the Indiana Pacers, they were running and gunning. So they're very weird to me in that sense, where they have all the talent on their roster. They have probably the best combination of 6-7 players that you could have in the league right now. All of those guys are extremely good. But instead of forcing teams to play their particular style of play, it's as if they would rather mold themselves into the team that they're playing and beat them in their style. That's how it comes off to me. And the Celtics do play a lot of isolation basketball with Tatum and with Brown. That's something that they do a lot, but they can also move the ball a lot when they need to. So it really sometimes feels like they're saying, I'm going to play your style of play and I'm going to beat you in it. And that's how they're going about it. It's almost like, I don't know if y'all know like any MMA, but they said that's what John Jones used to do to people, right? Like he would, whatever you do well, I'm going to beat you in that. So if you want to stand up and fight, even though I'm more of a wrestler, I'm going to stand up and fight. If you're a wrestler, I'm going to wrestle with you, right? I'm going to outdo you in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to submit you. And that's what it feels like the Boston Celtics are doing. They go into a series trying to figure out how to beat these teams at their own game. And I think that's why some of these games are close, right? When it gets to a shootout, typically they beat teams up because that goes into their lane, into their field. But you're seeing them stoop down to the Magic level, and they're still up 3-1 in the series. So, you know, that's what Boston's got for you. That's what Boston's got for you. And you know, the crazy thing is, Jaylen Brown hasn't even had an unbelievable series, right? He's still coming back from injury. Drew Holiday has missed a couple games, so it feels like the Celtics haven't been 100% all year, and they're still winning. So that's what really makes them dangerous. Now let's look ahead to tonight's games, because we have Cleveland versus Miami, Houston against the Warriors. Does Miami save themselves from elimination, from a sweep? They're in Miami. Bam had a solid game. He had a solid game in game 3, right? Even though they got blown out. But Tyler Hero didn't have a very good game at all. I'm expecting Darius Garland to play in this game. I think it'd be really weird if he doesn't play. Donovan Mitchell didn't shoot the ball at all. He didn't shoot the ball well at all last game. I think Cleveland is due for a bad game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I said this the other day. I had Miami winning game 3 and they got blown out. I got no faith in these guys, man. I think the Miami Heat get swept. I think they'll watch for Evan Mobley had one foul the other day. Watch for Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen to pick up a couple early fouls this game. Yeah, I'm gonna look for Evan Mobley and Jared Allen to pick up a couple fouls. If that happens, and Bam Adebayo can kind of take over a little bit, right? He'll probably have to go up against like DeAndre Hunter or something. So look for those two guys to get in foul trouble. I think Miami will make it close. I think Cleveland still wins the game because they've done a really great job in close game situations this year, but I don't picture it being 124-87 at all. Now, Cleveland wins. Now, Houston, Golden State, they are in San Francisco, right? They won 104-93. It's been such a low scoring series, man. Like, I think it's a real testament to the Rockets. Does Jimmy play today is the question. Let me see. Let's see. Jimmy Butler injury update. What the hell? Is Jimmy Butler playing today? He's still questionable. He wants to give it a shot. All right, so it's going to be a game time decision essentially. They won without him, right? What I would expect out of the Houston Rockets today, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm throwing everything at Steph Curry. Right? If Jimmy is playing, you be extra physical. You throw Dylan Brooks on him first. Be extra physical with him. Put him in pick and roll situations with Jalen Green. Test out how that hip is moving. If he can move well without it, right? But I expect a bounce back game out of Jalen Green. I think this is going to be another close one. I think the Warriors take this, man. I think the Warriors are going to take this game. I think the Warriors take this 3-1. I think it's going to be super tight, though. I think it's going to be a super close game, but I think the Warriors take this even without a Jimmy Butler that's all the way there. I think we get a master class, and Steph already had a massive game, but I think this is going to be one of those games. I think Steph is about to have one of those games, and they got to watch out. It's going to be a shootout between him and Jalen Green, and I think the Warriors take it out. So Cleveland wins tonight. Warriors win tonight. That's going to do it for me for now, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. As always, I appreciate it. I know my allergies are fucking killing me today, but please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. It really helps the channel out. Thank you guys so much. Elijah, I appreciate you for the comments and for hanging out with me as always. Thank you guys so much. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that. I'll see y'all later, man. Have a good one. Peace, 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 peace.